Hey guys, David here, and welcome to Digital Outlook. Guys, I sure hope you've had an absolutely fantastic day, because I'll tell you what, there is a lot to be excited about inside of this XRP ecosystem. Now, many of you may know just today, Monica Long had announced that they have gone out there. Ripple has actually acquired, or secured, maybe a better word, a major payments institution license inside of Singapore. Big time deal. Why is this such a big deal? Because, guys, it's not only going to allow them to utilize RLUSD, but also XRP to be able to facilitate all of these major institutional transfers around the wide world. And guys, get this, they're not going to have to do it through a third party. This is a major development. And what we're witnessing is we're watching Ripple absolutely position themselves around the wide world, in the United Arab Emirates, in Singapore, of course, in South Korea, in Europe, and all of that. Guys, they're getting the rails in place. And if they're getting the rails in place, think about this. When we see, because right now, what this is not only adoption, guys, it's application. It's application. Because the majority of remittances that are sent around the world, well, it's not you and I. It's not retail doing this. Of course, it's major businesses. And this is one massive reason why Ripple went out there, paid $1 billion, guys, get that, to acquire G Treasury. They did that because G Treasury does hundreds of billions of dollars worth of transfers for corporations around the wide world. Well, I'll tell you what, when you get that kind of institutional application, what do you think is going to happen for this space? Well, it's going to move that application way further down the road and a whole lot faster. And so when you have all this going on, and we're watching the financial world right now unravel right before our very eyes. I mean, we've talked about it a lot. You know, how we're seeing the bond rate in Japan just kind of climbing up there. We know we're dealing with a global liquidity crisis, and you got the Federal Reserve dropping interest rates. They are going to continue to do that, guys, till it gets to literally zero. But in the meantime, what is happening with all these monetary systems? They're evolving, guys. They are evolving. And what a lot of folks are not paying attention to is how that evolution is genuinely changing, the fortunes of so many. How is it going to set up the future? What about our personal information? And how is that going to be absolutely stored and moved and used? Who has jurisdiction over it? Well, this distributed ledger technology space, guys, it answers every one of those problems, doesn't it? And that's where the value is. The value is in the protocol. Right now, we're seeing the market all fluctuate with all this uncertainty and insecurity and on and on. Do you think it's going to stay there, guys? Do you think that's really going to be all there is to what's going on here? Not on your life. Why do I believe that? Well, because of the very thing that we're seeing here. We're seeing all of this global application. And if you peel back that onion for yourself and you start to look at what's going on behind the scenes, I'm going to tell you what, your eyes are going to be so opened, you're not going to get shaken out. Fear, uncertainty, doubt, all these guys whining and complaining. Look, they're not made for this space, number one. If they're getting in there and they're tired and they're frustrated and whatever, they should pack it up and just head out. Why? Because if they got into it just because they don't have the staying power to watch it move a few cents, you got to be kidding me. Because I'll tell you what, you'll sit down there and you'll start with your 401k at your job or whatever it is. You'll put 25 years into putting that kind of pension and not even see close to the percentage gains that majority of us have seen since November, the presidential election last, in 2024 until now. Not in your life. We are up hundreds upon hundreds of percent. But folks, that's just it. They're falling for all the FUD. They're falling for the fear. They have no confidence in what they actually invested in, which tells me, hey, why'd you get into it into the first place? You didn't know what you were doing. And it's so vitally important, guys. Almost every other video, we encourage you to get out there and really research it for yourself, because you know what? Judy and I really do want you to make it. When it happened for us, it was a life change, guys. It was a life change. And you know what? What's wild about it is we weren't even looking for it. We kind of fell into this space because we were out there trying to protect the purchasing power of our savings. And you know what? At the time when all this was going down, there was no gold and silver to be had. And, you know, we ended up taking a course. We went through it. We fell into space. And first thing we ever bought when we entered into it, it was Bitcoin, guys. It was Bitcoin. And from there, well, we graduated onto some real application, I'll tell you what. And it changed our lives just like that. And that is where the confidence that we have comes from. It's certainly not the sentiment in the space because, as you can see, sentiment can change on a dime. And they got paid people that are being literally paid to throw FUD into the comments. That you can, if XRP was such a nothing burger, would you put out there, would you invest all that time, effort, and energy flooding these XRP channels, not just mine, a lot of other guys, with all the nonsense that they do? Would you waste your time and money doing that? Of course you wouldn't, would you? It's because we are such a threat. And the fact they don't really want you to clue in and know that. And in fact, in some jurisdictions around the world, like my native country there in Canada, they literally will limit how much you are even allowed to buy in various jurisdictions. Can you imagine that? Like, you could literally take your life savings. You could go to Las Vegas. You could blow that on a weekend. They could care less. But you want to invest more than $30,000 Canadian into any of these, alternative digital assets? Nope. Can't do it. You're breaking the law. And the exchanges are required to refuse you to go out and even buy more. Can you imagine that? Now, why, oh why, would a government really care that much about you doing that if it's just your money and all that? Because, guys, I'm going to tell you something. They know a whole lot more than what they're letting on. And further to that, look, when I worked for the government, I read the legislation, and I can tell you that they are absolutely planning for what's coming. And most folks, yep, they're going to miss it. They are going to miss it. I don't want you to miss it. I don't. Judy and I, we want to bring as many people across that finish line as we possibly can. One thing you notice on this channel, don't you? No sponsors. Ever think about that? No sponsors, nobody paying us to say this or that. Oh, we've been accused. Oh, this guy must be working for Ripple. Nope, they haven't ever contacted me, never paid me 1 red cent, guys. And they don't have to. Why? Because it's already revolutionized our lives. It has. And I've watched it, by the way, revolutionize the lives of so many others. And we have helped so many to get ready for what's coming, because when it happens, I'm going to tell you something. It happens so fast. You cannot really digest it if you've never been there and if you've never experienced it. And I mean, I've talked to people that have come from every kind of walk, discipline that you can imagine, from, big time accounting agencies, lawyers, people that are running businesses and have done so successfully for years, major league ball players, you name it. We've had the opportunity to sit down and talk with these folks and literally show them how they can position themselves to be way more strategic at what this space represents. Because, guys, it's going to change the way the world works. It's going to do it, and it's going to do it way faster than you ever possibly think. And, guys, I'll tell you what, yes, there is going to be a peak. We're going to hit a peak. And when we hit that peak, I think it's going to blow people's minds, to be sure. But I will tell you this, for every bull market, guys, there is a bear market. That is a fact. And you can research this all you like. Now, yeah, are we going to come down as far as we've come down the past? Well, depending on where we are with the regulatory clarity, of course, the application and how just entrenched it is and that, but we're way closer to it than we were before. So I actually don't believe when we do get the bear market, is it going to drop 80 to 90%? I don't think so, but it is going to drop. Guys, this is where you want to be strategic about it. And that's why we get out there and share what we do so that you can make it, guys. We want you to make it. That is an absolute fact. And if you're interested in learning more about that and having that one-on-one with Judy and I and with me, you can just write me at thedigitaloutlook.com and you can get yourself on the calendar to do that. But whether you do it through me or you do it for someone else, guys, I'm going to encourage you, take the time. Take the time. Read the articles that I put into these videos inside those links. Get involved in the mastermind there and get with some like minds and all that information. And by the way, on Friday, we're doing another town hall. We took a break there for Thanksgiving, of course, with Black Friday and all that. But we're right back at it, guys. We're in the trenches and we are fighting this thing out. And we've got a lot to present. It is going to be amazing. Guys, we love you so much and cannot wait to see you on the other side with us. That is for sure. So I'll tell you what, until tomorrow, when we're going to have another fantastic coffee chat, guys, have a fabulous one and take care.